Alright, so this morning I'm going to work on distance, but we have to simplify radicals on this one. So when we simplify radicals, I like to do using a prime chart. I'm going to put a prime chart here. This is a prime chart. Maybe you can get a good picture of that. I don't know if you can or not. Okay. That's just prime number chart. So if maybe you can get a good picture of that, I don't know. Okay, probably looks better right there. I use that for solid simplifying radicals. So what I do is when I simplify a radical, okay, like square root of 40. Okay, well, we look at the way radicals work. And so if I look at square root of 4, square root of 4 is 2, because 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so if I look at this as primes, though, the primes of this is 2 times 2. And so we find out that if we have 2 inside a radical, that's a square, and then a square can come out as 1, 2 outside. So under the pairs and squares, okay, I'm going to look at the prime factors of each number. I'm going to look and pull out pairs and pull those squares out. And when I pull them out, they'll become square root will become that number. Okay. All right. So, excuse me. So on this 40 here, the prime factors of my prime chart for 40 are 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. Okay. And so I can pull a square out of a pair of 2's, pull that out. Those come out as 1, 2. Following this example, the pairs go out as 1. Okay, so and then this 2 and 5 are left inside. And so 2 times 5 left inside gives me an answer of 2 square root 10. Okay, and this is a simplified radical. All right. So like when we do 72 here, this is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3, and I've got a pair of 2's and a pair of 3's that are both going outside. So when that 2 goes out, the 3 comes out with it, and then the left inside is that 1, 2 right there. And so anything comes out, you multiply together. So if stuff is left inside, you multiply it together. Whatever comes out is more than 1, multiply it together, so you end up with 6 square root 2 here. Okay? So we're looking for those radicals. Okay? If I do square root like square root 30, then that's primes are 2 times 3 times 5. There's no pairs in there. So your reduced radical is just square root 30. Okay? Now, if I do one like, let's do, I don't know, 81. Okay? That primes are 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Well, that means that everything comes out in pairs. So I'm bringing the 2 3's out. Nothing left inside, so the answer is just 9. That means that this is a perfect square number over here. So when everything comes out, this is a perfect square number. Okay? Alright, so a lot of times we'll work them down so we get these simplified answers. Okay? So we do our distances today, our 10-2 assignment, or we do our distances. We have to answer in simplified radical form. We call the exact answer. Okay, so the exact answer on these, we do the same way we did before. We're going to follow our little chant here. Okay, and so this point here, point K, is at -1 and 8. This one over here is point N is at -9 and 2. Okay. And so we find our rise. Our rise is from 2 to 8, so it goes up 6. Our run goes from -9 to positive, or to -1, that's 8. And I square both numbers, square the rise, so 6 times 6 is 36. Square it run, so 8 times 8 is 64. Add those two numbers together, I get 36 plus 64 is 100. I take the square root of that, and I look at the simplifying it, so I have 2 times 2 times 5 times 5, so everything comes out, so I bring out a 2 and a 5, so my answer is 10. That's a perfect square root, which means that 10 times 10 is 100, so we knew that was true. Okay? Alright. And then with ordered pairs only, same thing, we find the rise. So the rise again is from -2 to +2, so the rise is 4. The run goes from 2 to 3, so the run is 1. When I square both those, I get 16 and 1. Add those together, I get 17, and I square root that. And when I go to my chart, this says this is a prime number. Well, this means it doesn't simplify, so this is my answer, square root of 17. Okay, and we have a couple of construction we've got to deal with. Okay, so we'll have to deal with some constructions here. I'll show you how to do those. The idea of the angle bisector, the word bisect means to cut it in half. Exactly down the middle. So that when I do that, I have both these angles congruent. When I do a perpendicular bisector, perpendicular, of course, means 90-degree angle. Okay, and bisector again means cut in half, so we're going to cut this right in half like this, where it's 90 degrees to the side and it cuts the side in half. Both sides are equal. That's our goal. Okay? Alright, so here we go. On our assignment, we're going to look at this. We're going to simplify the square root of 48, so we're going to break it down into its primes. So look at your prime chart, look at this. 48 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. So I look for pairs. I have 2 pairs of 2, so I'm going to pick a 2 out, another 2 out. Remember, 2 inside is 1 outside. And square root of 3 is left inside, so my answer is going to be 4 square roots of 3. Okay? Alright, so we're doing a distance on this. So number 2 is the distance, so again our distance from -9 to 5 is 4, so our rise is 4. Our run is from 0 to 8 is 8. Square both those, so I get 4 times 4 is 16. 8 times 8 is 64. Add those two together, I get 80. Okay, and I square root that, so square root 80 is my answer. Simplify that, 80 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. So I'll bring 2 pairs of 2's out, so I have 4 square root 5 is my answer. I remember I brought 2 pairs of 2's out and left the 5 inside, so that's where I get my 4 square root 5. Okay? Alright, now down here they want us to find out if these lines are congruent. So we're given 2 lines, PQ, WX, and YZ, 3 lines, sorry. And we're going to find the length of each line. So we've got to find distance on these. So let's do PQ first. We're going to really keep quick to it here. Rise from 2 to 7 is 5. Run from -7 to -4 is 3. Square both those, I get 25 and 9. Add those together, I get 34. We square root that. 34 on my sheet. My prime sheet is 2 times 17. So this will not simplify. So this answer right here is square root 34. Okay? And WX, let's do that one next. So WX. Okay, so my run is from 1 to -4, it goes down 5. My rise goes from -2 to 1, it's up 3. When I square -5, I still get 25 and 9. So this is going to be the same exact answer as the first one. So it's going to be square root 34. So I've done all the work on that one. I'm just going to throw it over here. Now, the third one's the same, and we're lucky. We got all the same. We're going to mark all the same, but this might well just check it. So this line is YZ. We're going to check it. Again, from 7 to 6, the rise is 1. Down 1, actually. And from 1 to 7, the rise is 6. 1 negative 1 squared is positive 1. 6 squared is 16. Nope, 36, sorry. 36. Add those together, I get 37 square root. 37 is a prime number, it does not simplify, so it will be right over here like this. And then we answer these questions. P, Q, and WX, they are the same size, so they are congruent. P, Q, and YZ are not the same, so they're not congruent. And YZ is and PQ are not the same, or WX and YZ are not the same, so they're not congruent. Okay? Alright, so last thing, we bisect this angle. This is going to take the use of a compass. Okay? And the trick is, you need a compass and a ruler. So there's my compass and there's my ruler. Okay? So what you do first is you put your point on the vertex and you make this line, this other side, go just barely above the mark here, and holding on your vertex right there, you swoop a line across both, lines. Okay, so you got that across both lines. Then you take your compass and go to this intersection point. Don't change your compass settings. Go to this intersection point over here and draw a line, arc up in here, like so. Switch sides. Put your vertex, your point on that vertex, on that intersection point, and make this arc up here. And with those arcs cross right there, that's going to be your intersection point. Take that ruler and put it on that intersection point on your vertex, like so. Draw your line down through there, and that will cut your angle in 2 equal pieces. Okay? Alright, on the other one, to bisect the line, is you take your compass and you put it on here and you go more than halfway. So I like to go about that big, more than halfway. You take your compass and you put it on your end point here, and you draw an arc that goes all the way down to the bottom. Hold it on so it doesn't go away. Like that. Then you go to the other side and put your on that end point and cross this line here and down to here like this. Okay, so you have those 2 arcs from the end points. And then just take your line, your ruler, and intersect these 2 points where this arcs cross, and that will be your perpendicular bisector. Okay, so your bisector will go right down through there. Cuts the line exactly in half and is 90 degrees to the side. Okay, that's how you do that. Alright, so that's 10 in a nutshell, 10.2.